All right, here we are again. No problem. So, seems like Tuesday was a little while ago, doesn't it? I am here. Thank you for joining me today. I'm here to announce that in order to slow the spread of the coronavirus effective immediately and through the next 3 weeks, we are limiting our branch office operations to provide only critical services that must be done in person and during the next 3 weeks. In addition, anyone who needs to conduct one of these critical transactions in our branches will need to make an appointment ahead of time. We will no longer allow walk-in transactions during this 3-week period. The goal is to eliminate any potential crowding in our offices and thereby support the work of Governor Whitmer and her administration to protect the health of all state employees in Michigan. During this 3-week period, we will also expand the number of appointments available at our offices, continue to offer same-day appointments, and extend our weekday hours. Those will be on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays. Our branches will be open for appointments only from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Wednesdays they will be open as always from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We will not have any offices open for service on Saturdays. We will continue to offer services online, by mail, and at our new self-service stations that are located across the state in our branch offices as well as in Kroger and Myers. Many of these also accept cash, and we will be lifting the restriction that requires the demonstration of insurance to renew driver's licenses that oftentimes restricts someone from being able to renew their licenses online or at our kiosk. Now, the type of transactions that we will be allowing in our branch offices during the next 3 weeks will be limited to the following 3 critical services. Number 1, all new driver's licenses and state IDs, regardless of type. Number 2, title transfers, regardless of type. And number 3, testing for an original commercial driver's license, chauffeur's license, mechanic's license, motorcycle license, and recreational vehicle license. We will honor all existing appointments, but any new appointments will be limited to these 3 transaction types. Also, at this unique time in our community, we are asking that people with existing appointments for non-critical services that do not have to be completed in the next 3 weeks to consider canceling them and making an appointment for later in order to free up appointments available to people who need them in these next 3 weeks. Many of our appointments as well are used by dealers, auto dealers. We are also working with them to open up those appointments so that they will no longer need to use our offices during this 3-week period to operate their services. We also understand that as appointments fill up, some people will not be able to conduct their business with us before their transaction expiration date. So for those services, we will waive late fees during this period, and we have also notified Michigan State Police of our change in operations so that they convey this information to local law enforcement. For the next 3 weeks, we will work with the Whitmer administration to monitor public health and the spread of coronavirus here in Michigan in order to determine how we will operate after April 6th. We will also explore options to provide more services virtually in preparation for the possibility that we may need to implement even more limited access to our branch offices in the future. In the meanwhile, I want to stress to all Michiganders that we want them to take advantage of the many services we offer online, as well as the vehicle renewal services available at our self-service stations across the state. For those who do make appointments, please know that we are requiring all staff to utilize the hygiene practices recommended to prevent the spread of the virus, and we are also upgrading our cleaning and sanitation protocols at all offices. However, we also request that everyone play a role in public hygiene by using hand sanitizer and disinfecting wipes when visiting us. I also ask for the understanding of all Michiganders. Our decision to limit in-person transactions at our branch offices to only specific necessary transactions and to make them appointment only made out of a desire to serve all employees and customers and their families by protecting our state's public health. Thank you, and I will now take questions.
Was there any consideration given to outright shutting down branches and just going with a 3-week moratorium on all services?
We recognize the significant economic impact it would at this time lead to if we were to shut down all in-person operations through our branch offices. We feel this is a compromise that will enable us to protect the safety of our employees and our residents, and also deliver the services that are needed and must be done in person during this 3-week window. However, lots of moving pieces. We recognize that a consistent and continual reevaluation of our service delivery plan will be necessary in the weeks ahead.
Can you elaborate a layer deeper, if you will, with regard to the thinking behind critical services and the why? I'm sure you gave it consideration, but if you can elaborate a little more on why you feel that's something you really can't do.
Well, we recognize that driving in Michigan is for many people a necessity to be able to get to work or get to healthcare facilities and everything in between. So we don't want to make decisions that will make it very difficult or impossible for people to drive on the road safely or conduct vehicle transactions that are necessary under law. And also we're trying to limit our impact and the impact that our decisions make on the economy and the transactions that we oversee. So we took that into consideration, and in conversations with the governor and others throughout our state, as well as our employees, recognized that this approach would be is something that we have the infrastructure to do, because all our offices allow appointments, and would enable us to limit the number of individuals gathered in our offices, but still be open to serve the public, which is what we believe the taxpayers expect of us.
Can you elaborate on the kind of reprieve that you're talking about, that you're going to pass along to the state police and then they're going to pass along to the local police?
Yeah, in my conversations with residents over the past year, I've found that as we've worked to go through situations like these in the past, the fear is often, even if we waive late fees, I still might be pulled over and given a ticket because my license has expired or my plates are expired. And so that's why we feel it's critical that our state police and local law enforcement officers also respect that right now, at this moment, it's going to be difficult sometimes, or impossible potentially, for our residents to renew their vehicles or licenses, and we ask for their partnership as well in making sure that people can continue to drive during this time.
So it's not necessarily a mandate, especially for the local police.
Again, lots of moving pieces here, but we're working and taking every step in recognition of what we can do to protect the safety of our residents, our employees, and ensure that everyone's still able to the extent possible, drive on our roads safely. We do have a plan to have greeters in place at every office that will be welcoming people, offering same-day appointments if necessary, or other appointments. But we are implementing signage and additional communications to everyone who may be coming into contact with our offices during this 3-week period, so that they know that we are no longer allowing walk-ins during this time, and encouraging everyone to make an appointment. Yes, a Real ID requires an in-person transaction, and we are considering that an ID transaction, a new ID transaction, that will still be allowed and still be permitted to be done in our offices with an appointment during this 3-week period.
Do you have any estimates on how many people are served currently, say monthly and weekly, and how many you're hoping to now serve?
We're trying to, we do intend to expand the number of appointments we offer during this time, both same day and in advance. So even if you've gone on recently and looked for an appointment, you may find now that there are more appointments available with this announcement. And again, a lot of our appointments are currently held by auto dealers who have a significant number of transactions with their offices. We're taking those offline, so those will open up. So we're expanding the number of appointments, and in doing so, we hope that will enable more people to take advantage of them, and hopefully, create some opportunities in the future to recognize the appointment availability in our offices.
Do you expect the staffing to remain the same, or is that going to decline possibly?
Well, by making the changes to our hours that we're making, that enables us more flexibility with our staff to ensure that we're able to, even in some cases, increase staff if necessary to honor expanding appointments. And then again, to get to your original question, we've been looking at typical transaction amounts during this time for these 3 critical transactions we're limiting to, and working to match the number of appointments available to those who need transactions right now and need these renewals or whatever transactions right now.
Just to be clear, no
Yeah.
branches are being closed.
Correct. At this time, we are not closing branches. We are eliminating the ability for people to walk in and take a number and wait, and saying if you do need to come into a branch office, make an appointment ahead of time. Make sure it's for one of these 3 necessary services that we've identified. And if you don't need to interact with our branch office, please do your transaction online or at a self-service station or by mail, or wait until this period subsides, when we will again be opening up our offices for more transactions.
Not trying to be flippant or funny, at least, but if ever there's an area that, transfer of a virus may be at, it's the Secretary of State's office, proximity, staying there for a while.
Yeah.
Thoughts on just that and the fact of cleaning measures, sanitation measures you may be taking, etc.?
Yeah, we have a great team, and I should mention that we've been partnering and working with the UAW also throughout this process, so that our employees who are UAW members in these offices are prepared and informed with all the hygiene and have that support from us as well. So that's one thing we're doing. We've activated and increased cleaning and sanitizing of all our facilities. But this was a move of abundance of consideration for the need to eliminate crowds right now. And so what we're envisioning, and I will personally be visiting branch offices throughout the state next week to see how and evaluate how this is going, because again, there are many moving pieces, and as we know, the situation is changing by the day. But that said, we anticipate and we hope that at any given time there will only be a handful of people in a branch office who have appointments as a result of this directive. Yeah. No, all dealers typically have the ability to conduct their transactions without having to go to a branch office, and so we are working with our auto dealers to make sure that one, they're not filling up the appointments that we want to go to individual drivers and residents right now, and secondly, that they're able to conduct their transactions with our office off-site without having to go to our branch office, and so our team is working with them directly on their unique needs. I think, and just to underscore, as we went through this decision-making process, it was really important for us to consider the economic impact that the decisions we make as the licensor of vehicles in our state would have on our dealer community and on our residents seeking to buy or sell vehicles right now. So a lot of our decision has been informed by wanting to limit the economic impact of anything we do in that regard. All right, well, thank you all. Stay safe out there.
So this is effective starting?
Effective immediately. Our branch offices will now go to appointment only starting Monday of next week, when they open at 9 a.m.
But aren't there some Saturday locations?
Nope. No, the Saturday locations will not be open tomorrow. Correct. And I believe our branches are now closed for the rest of today, as of 2 o'clock. Yes.
I'm not trying to drive the narrative.
Yeah.
Just for clarity.
Yeah.
Was closure even considered, or was closure a non-starter from the start? Did you get the question?
Certainly, we looked at all options on the table, including closure of branch offices. That was certainly something that we discussed, recognizing the needs of our citizens and the needs of our economy. We felt this was a way to continue serving in a limited capacity where needed, as many workers are doing right now, but also limit the negative impacts of that continual opening by eliminating crowds in our offices. It was not dismissed out of hand. And again, every option continues to be on the table. This is what we're doing right now, and so certainly, and in talking with my colleagues around the country as well, other DMV operators and the like, closing access to branch offices is something that needs to be on the table, but and something that was seriously considered. But at this time, we feel that weighing all the options quite seriously and recognizing the infrastructure that we've built to allow for appointments, this is an opportunity for us to continue to serve the public in only when necessary type of way, in a very limited capacity, but to do so that will minimize the economic impact and the impact on our families and our state workers. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks.